You feel more alone now than ever, even surrounded by people. And it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to understand why. We live in a paradox, don't we? Surrounded by a sea of faces, a constant stream of digital connection, yet so profoundly alone. The hum of notifications, the endless scroll, a symphony of superficiality playing out against the silent ache in our hearts. We've never been more connected, yet the feeling of profound disconnection is a modern epidemic. Why is this so? Why does this unprecedented access to others often leave us feeling more isolated than ever before? Is it the very nature of this connection? Fleeting, superficial, lacking the depth of true human engagement? Perhaps. We curate our online personas, presenting carefully constructed versions of ourselves, afraid to reveal the cracks, the vulnerabilities that make us truly human. We seek validation in likes and comments, mistaking fleeting digital affirmation for genuine connection. Schopenhauer might suggest it's the inherent will, the ceaseless striving, that drives us to seek connection. Yet the very nature of that striving often leaves us empty. We chase fleeting moments of connection, chasing the illusion of belonging, never truly settling into the quiet space of genuine human encounter. The yearning for connection becomes a relentless pursuit, leaving us perpetually unsatisfied, adrift in a sea of superficial interactions. Consider this. How often do you truly see the person across from you, beyond the curated facade they present? How often do you allow yourself to be truly seen in all your messy, imperfect glory? The answer, I suspect, lies in the courage to embrace vulnerability, to shed the masks we wear, and to risk genuine connection. This, perhaps, is the beginning of our journey out of the modern loneliness paradox. The path forward is paved not with more connections, but with deeper, more authentic encounters. And that journey, my friends, begins within. It begins with the courage to be truly seen and to truly see. To understand the nature of human connection in the modern world, we must first turn to a rather unsettling lens, the philosophy of Arthur Schopenhauer. He saw the world not through rose-tinted glasses, but with a stark, unflinching gaze, revealing a fundamental pessimism about human nature. His central concept, the will, is not the conscious, rational we often associate with our choices, but blind, relentless force driving all living things toward self-preservation and reproduction. This is not a gentle urge, but a powerful, often destructive drive. Schopenhauer believed this will is the root cause of all suffering. It's a ceaseless striving, an insatiable hunger that can never be truly satisfied. And this relentless force, he argued, fundamentally shapes our relationships. Love, compassion, even seemingly selfless acts are not, in his view, born of pure altruism, but ultimately rooted in the self-serving will. We seek connection not for the pure joy of companionship, but to alleviate the pain of our own isolation, to fulfill our inherent need for validation and belonging. This perspective might seem harsh, cynical even, and yet there's a certain uncomfortable truth in its core. How often do we find ourselves drawn to others not for their intrinsic worth, but for what they offer us? Status, security, a sense of belonging. How often do we project our own needs and desires onto others, expecting them to fulfill our inherent emptiness? This isn't to say that love and genuine connection are impossible. Rather, it's an invitation to examine the motivations behind our relationships, to confront the often unsettling truth of our own self-interest. By acknowledging this inherent self-centeredness, perhaps we can begin to build more authentic and sustainable connections, based not on the fleeting satisfaction of the will, but on a deeper, more conscious understanding of ourselves and others. The journey to genuine connection begins with a willingness to confront the uncomfortable realities of the human condition, to acknowledge the shadows within, and to cultivate a deeper understanding of the profound, often painful, nature of the human heart. Schopenhauer's concept of the will isn't merely a force for self-preservation. It's a potent drive for power, a relentless striving for dominance, even in our relationships. This isn't necessarily about overt control or manipulation, but a subtler, often unconscious assertion of self. We seek connections, yes, but often with a hidden agenda: to be admired, to be needed, to feel superior, to have our own sense of self validated through the eyes of another. Think about the dynamics of friendships, romantic relationships, even family bonds. How often do we find ourselves subtly competing for attention, for validation, for the upper hand? How often do we unconsciously seek to shape others, to fit our own idealized image of connection? This isn't always malicious. It's often a deeply ingrained, unconscious pattern stemming from the very core of our being, the relentless striving of the will. This isn't to condemn human connection. Rather, it's to understand its complexities, its often hidden currents of power and desire. The pursuit of connection, through this lens, becomes a subtle battleground, a constant negotiation of wills, a struggle for dominance disguised as intimacy. The desire for connection becomes intertwined with the desire to control, to shape, to influence. We seek to exert our will upon others, hoping to find a sense of fulfillment through their recognition and acceptance. Recognizing this inherent dynamic isn't about cynicism. It's about self-awareness. It's about understanding the often hidden motivations that shape our interactions, the subtle ways in which it will manifest itself in our relationships. Only then can we begin to cultivate a more authentic, less self-serving approach to connection, a path where true empathy and understanding can bloom, transcending the often turbulent waters of the will. The journey to genuine connection involves a conscious effort to move beyond the self-serving impulses of the will towards a space of mutual respect, understanding, and acceptance. A space where connection is not a battleground, but a sanctuary. The digital age presents a curious paradox. We are more connected than ever before, yet loneliness pervades our society. Social media, dating apps. These platforms promise connection, a vast network of potential relationships at our fingertips. Yet often, what we find is a shimmering illusion, a digital mirage masking a deeper, more profound loneliness. The curated perfection of online profiles, the carefully crafted narratives we present to the world. These are not reflections of our true selves, but carefully constructed masks. We seek validation in likes and comments, mistaking fleeting digital affirmation for genuine connection. The superficiality of online interactions, the lack of true presence and engagement, leaves us feeling more empty, more disconnected than ever before. Dating apps, for instance, often reduce individuals to a series of carefully chosen images and pithy bios. The focus is on superficial attributes, on quick judgments based on limited information. Genuine connection, with its inherent vulnerability and risk, is often sacrificed at the altar of efficiency and instant gratification. The relentless pursuit of the next potential match, the constant swiping and scrolling, becomes a cycle of superficial encounters, leaving us feeling increasingly isolated and unfulfilled. Schopenhauer's perspective offers a poignant lens through which to view this digital landscape. The will, in its relentless striving, finds a new playground in the online world. We seek validation, connection, a sense of belonging, but often find only fleeting moments of satisfaction, leaving us perpetually hungry for more. The digital illusion of connection ultimately reinforces the very emptiness it promises to fill, highlighting the inherent limitations of superficial interactions in satisfying our deepest human needs. The path to genuine connection lies not in the digital realm, but in the courage to step outside of the curated online world and to embrace the messiness and vulnerability of real-life encounters. We live in a culture of superficiality, a world where fleeting interactions often replace genuine connection. We rush through relationships, prioritizing convenience and instant gratification over depth and vulnerability. This superficiality, this avoidance of true intimacy, is a reflection of our own anxieties and fears, a fear of exposing our vulnerabilities, of risking rejection, of confronting the inherent loneliness at the heart of the human experience. Schopenhauer's philosophy sheds light on this tendency to avoid depth. The will, in its relentless pursuit of self-preservation, often leads us to construct protective barriers, to avoid the vulnerability that true intimacy requires. Superficial relationships become a defense mechanism, a way to avoid the pain of genuine connection, the risk of exposing our true selves and potentially being rejected. These shallow connections offer a false sense of security, a temporary respite from the underlying loneliness, but they ultimately leave us feeling empty, unfulfilled, and further isolated. The constant pursuit of external validation, the need for superficial affirmation, becomes a substitute for genuine self-acceptance and authentic connection. The fear of vulnerability, The reluctance to expose our true selves prevents us from experiencing the depth and richness that genuine human connection offers. It's in these moments of vulnerability, in the shared experiences of pain and joy, that we truly connect with others, that we transcend the limitations of our individual wills and find a sense of belonging. To break free from the superficiality trap requires courage, a willingness to embrace vulnerability, and a conscious effort to cultivate deeper, more meaningful relationships. It requires a willingness to risk rejection in order to experience the transformative power of genuine human connection. Imagine a group of porcupines huddled together for warmth on a cold winter's night. They crave closeness, the comfort of physical proximity, but their quills prevent them from getting too close. Too much intimacy brings pain, the sharp prick of vulnerability. This is the porcupine dilemma, a poignant metaphor for the inherent tension in human relationships, the simultaneous need for closeness and the fear of being hurt. We yearn for connection, for the warmth and comfort of shared intimacy. Yet, our past experiences, our inherent anxieties, often create a barrier, a reluctance to fully open ourselves to others. We fear rejection, betrayal, the pain of heartbreak. This fear, this protective instinct, keeps us at a distance, preventing us from experiencing the true depth and richness of human connection. Think of the close friend who withdraws after a disagreement, the romantic partner who builds walls after betrayal, the family member who avoids expressing their true feelings for fear of conflict. These are all manifestations of the porcupine dilemma, the struggle to balance our need for intimacy with our fear of vulnerability. The challenge lies in finding a delicate balance, a way to navigate the complexities of human interaction without sacrificing either closeness or safety. It's about learning to approach intimacy with both courage and caution, acknowledging the inherent risks while still embracing profound rewards of genuine connection. The journey is not about eliminating the quills, but about learning to navigate them with grace, understanding, and compassion, both for ourselves and for those we choose to share our lives with. Our ego, that ever-present voice whispering in the back of our minds, often acts as a formidable barrier to genuine connection. It's a subtle saboteur, distorting our perceptions and hindering our ability to truly see and accept others. Instead of embracing the unique beauty of another person's individuality, our ego often projects its own desires, insecurities, and expectations onto them. We filter our interactions through the lens of our own self-interest, interpreting others' actions through the prism of our own needs and desires. Instead of listening deeply, truly hearing what another person is saying, we're often busy formulating our response, constructing our own narrative, positioning ourselves within the interaction. This self-centeredness, this inability to truly see the other person as a separate, independent being, prevents genuine empathy and understanding from taking root. The ego's need for validation further complicates matters. We seek affirmation, approval, a sense of being right, often at the expense of true connection. We may engage in subtle power plays, disguised as conversation or concern, subtly maneuvering to establish dominance or control. These ego-driven behaviors push others away, creating distance and reinforcing the very loneliness we seek to escape. Overcoming this barrier requires a profound shift in perspective, a willingness to let go of our need to be right, to control the narrative, to be the center of attention. Only by silencing the ego's insistent voice can we truly begin to see and appreciate others for who they are, independent of our own desires and expectations. It's in this quiet space of self-awareness that genuine connection can blossom. The fear of solitude, of being truly alone, is a powerful force shaping our choices in relationships. It whispers insidious doubts, urging us to settle for less than fulfilling connections, to cling to relationships that offer only a semblance of intimacy, rather than risk the pain of loneliness. This fear, often unconscious, drives us to prioritize companionship over genuine connection, leading us into relationships that ultimately leave us feeling more isolated than ever. We may stay in unfulfilling relationships, tolerating disrespect or neglect, simply because the prospect of being alone feels unbearable. We may rush into new relationships before fully processing past hurts, driven by a desperate need to fill the void, to escape the emptiness of solitude. We may sacrifice our own needs and desires to maintain a connection, even if it means suppressing our true selves, compromising our values. or settling for a life less than we deserve. This fear is deeply rooted in our human need for belonging, for connection, for a sense of purpose and meaning. But it's a fear that can be overcome. By confronting our fear of solitude, by learning to embrace our own company and cultivate a deep sense of self-worth, we can create space for more authentic and fulfilling relationships. The journey requires courage, a willingness to face the potential pain of loneliness, to sit with the discomfort of being alone, to discover the richness and depth that can be found within ourselves. Only then can we truly appreciate and attract the genuine connections that nourish our souls and enrich our lives. It's a path towards embracing the solitude that allows for true intimacy. The relentless pursuit of superficial connections, the constant scrolling through curated online profiles, the fleeting validation of likes and comments, these actions, while seemingly connecting us, often leave us feeling profoundly empty. A gnawing dissatisfaction lingers, a sense of incompleteness that no amount of digital affirmation can truly fill. The superficiality breeds anxiety, a constant fear of missing out, a relentless pressure to maintain a carefully crafted online persona, a nagging worry that we aren't measuring up to the idealized versions of ourselves and others present on social media. This constant comparison, this pursuit of external validation, leaves us feeling inadequate, disconnected, and alone. The curated highlight reels of others' lives create a distorted sense of reality, fueling feelings of envy and self-doubt. We find ourselves trapped in a cycle of seeking external approval, endlessly chasing validation that never truly satisfies. The emptiness deepens, the anxiety intensifies, and the dissatisfaction becomes a constant companion. This isn't about condemning online interaction entirely. It's about recognizing the emotional cost of prioritizing superficial connections over genuine intimacy. It's about acknowledging the inherent limitations of online interactions, their inability to provide the depth, the nuance, the true human connection that our souls crave. It's a call to cultivate deeper, more meaningful relationships, to prioritize authenticity over artifice, and to find fulfillment not in the fleeting validation of others, but in the quiet strength and self-acceptance found within. The path towards genuine connection requires a courageous turning inward, a willingness to confront the emptiness and embrace the vulnerability necessary for true intimacy. We often find ourselves trapped in a disheartening cycle. The superficial connections we seek to alleviate loneliness only deepen our sense of isolation. The fleeting interactions, the surface-level exchanges, leave us feeling more empty than before, fueling a deeper longing for genuine connection. This emptiness drives us further into the digital world, seeking solace in the illusion of connection, only to find ourselves further adrift in a sea of superficiality. It's a vicious spiral, a downward trend, where the very things we do to escape loneliness ultimately reinforce it. This cycle of disconnection is fueled by our fear of vulnerability, our reluctance to engage in the messy, unpredictable reality of genuine human connection. We prefer a controlled environment of online interactions, where we can curate our personas, control the narrative, and avoid the risk of genuine emotional intimacy. But this carefully constructed world offers only a fragile sense of belonging, a fleeting sense of connection that ultimately crumbles under the weight of our deepest desires. Breaking this cycle requires a conscious effort to prioritize authenticity over artifice, to embrace vulnerability over control. It requires a willingness to step outside our comfort zones, to risk rejection, to engage in meaningful conversations, to cultivate deep and lasting relationships. It means fostering genuine connections, however imperfect they may be, and understanding that true intimacy requires both vulnerability and acceptance of the other. It's about choosing presence over perfection. It's about choosing to show up, to listen deeply, and to truly see others not as reflections of ourselves, but as unique and valuable individuals. The journey out requires courage, patience, and a deep commitment to cultivating authentic connections. It's time to look inward, to honestly examine the motivations behind our relationships. Are we seeking genuine connection, or are we simply trying to fill a void to escape the discomfort of solitude? Are we driven by a need for validation, for external approval, or are we truly seeking companionship based on mutual respect and understanding? These are not easy questions, and the answers may be uncomfortable, but confronting them is the first step towards genuine change. Consider the patterns in your relationships. Do you consistently find yourself drawn to superficial connections, to relationships that lack depth and substance? Do you prioritize fleeting validation over genuine intimacy? Do you struggle with vulnerability, with allowing yourself to be truly seen and known? These patterns offer valuable insights into our underlying needs and fears, illuminating the root causes of our disconnection. This isn't about self-blame or judgment. It's about self-awareness, about understanding the forces that shape our choices and behaviors. It's about recognizing the subtle ways in which our own ego, our fear of vulnerability, and our longing for validation can obstruct true connection. By acknowledging these patterns, we can begin to consciously choose different paths, to cultivate relationships based on authenticity, empathy, and mutual respect, rather than on superficiality, neediness, or a desperate attempt to escape loneliness. This process is deeply personal, a journey of introspection and self-discovery. It requires courage, honesty, and a willingness to confront our deepest fears and insecurities. But it is a journey that ultimately leads to greater self-understanding and the possibility of deeper, more fulfilling connections. In our relentlessly connected world, solitude can feel like an anomaly, a luxury we can scarcely afford. Yet, it is within the quiet spaces of solitude that we find the opportunity for profound self-discovery. It is in the absence of external stimulation, in the stillness of our own company, that we can begin to truly understand our own needs and desires, separate from the noise of external expectations and pressures. Solitude offers a sanctuary from the relentless demands of social interaction, allowing us to process our emotions, to reflect on our experiences, and to cultivate a deeper understanding of ourselves. It's a space for introspection, for honest self-assessment, free from the distortions of external validation and the pressures of social conformity. In the quiet moments of solitude, we can confront our fears, acknowledge our vulnerabilities, and begin to heal from past hurts. The practice of solitude isn't about isolation or withdrawal from the world. It's about creating space for inner work, for self-reflection, for emotional growth. It's about learning to be comfortable in our own company, to appreciate our own strengths and weaknesses, and to cultivate a sense of self-acceptance that is essential for genuine connection with others. By understanding our own needs and desires, we are better equipped to cultivate relationships that are authentic, fulfilling, and mutually beneficial, based on genuine empathy and respect rather than superficial needs or ego-driven motivations. The quiet space of solitude allows us to cultivate inner peace, leading to a more authentic expression of self in our connections. True connection begins with self-knowledge. It's a journey of introspection, of peeling back the layers of our ego to uncover the authentic self beneath. This isn't a simple task. The ego, with an insatiable need for validation and control, fiercely resists this process. It whispers doubts, amplifies insecurities, and clings to the illusion of self-sufficiency. Yet, it is only by confronting the ego's grip that we can begin to build meaningful relationships. Self-awareness allows us to recognize our own patterns of behavior, our emotional triggers, and our underlying needs. It helps us to understand how our past experiences shape our present relationships and how our own insecurities can sabotage our efforts to connect authentically. It allows us to see our own contributions to the dynamics of our relationships, both positive and negative. This self-awareness is crucial in fostering empathy and compassion, not only for others, but also for ourselves. Breaking free from the ego's grip is a lifelong process, a continuous journey of self-discovery and growth. It requires courage, vulnerability, and a willingness to confront our deepest fears and insecurities. But the rewards are immeasurable. As we shed the layers of self-deception and embrace our authentic selves, we become capable of forming deeper, more meaningful connections, relationships built on mutual respect, understanding, and genuine love. These connections become less about what we can gain and more about what we can give, a reciprocal exchange of empathy and support. This is where true fulfillment lies. Cultivating conscious connection requires a conscious effort, a deliberate choice to move beyond superficial interactions and embrace genuine intimacy. It starts with a willingness to be vulnerable, to expose our authentic selves, flaws and all, to those we choose to connect with. This vulnerability isn't weakness. It's a testament to our courage, our willingness to risk hurt in pursuit of deeper connection. It's in these moments of shared vulnerability that true intimacy blossoms. Empathy is another cornerstone of conscious connection. It requires stepping outside of our own self-centered perspectives and attempting to understand the experiences and emotions of others. It means listening deeply, not just to hear their words, but to feel their emotions, to share in their joys and sorrows. It's about recognizing the inherent worth and dignity of each individual, regardless of their differences. Genuine presence is equally crucial. In our fast-paced, technology-saturated world, it's easy to become distracted, to allow our minds to wander while we're ostensibly engaging with others. Conscious connection requires our full attention, our undivided presence. It means putting away our phones, silencing our internal dialogues, and truly being present in the moment with the person before us. It's about making eye contact, listening attentively, and offering our full attention. These practices, vulnerability, empathy, and presence, are not always easy. They require effort, self-reflection, and a willingness to step outside of our comfort zones. But the rewards are immeasurable. By cultivating conscious connections, we create a world where genuine intimacy thrives, where loneliness is replaced by belonging, and where the human spirit can flourish. These connections, built on authenticity and mutual respect, are the true antidote to the pervasive loneliness of our modern age. They are the foundation for a life rich in meaning and purpose. Schopenhauer's philosophy, with its emphasis on a relentless will of power, can feel profoundly pessimistic, leaving us grappling with the seemingly inescapable self-interest that permeates human interaction. Yet, within this framework, there lies a glimmer of hope, a possibility of transcendence. While the will may be a powerful force, it is not the only force at play within the human heart. Compassion, empathy, and selfless love. These are not simply illusions, but genuine expressions of a different kind of will, a will towards connection and understanding. These are not merely self-serving acts masked as altruism, but genuine expressions of a desire to alleviate suffering, to share in the joy of others, and to foster a sense of belonging. This is where we can begin to move beyond the limitations of Schopenhauer's framework, finding a path towards genuine connection that transcends the purely self-interested motivations he describes. The key lies in cultivating conscious awareness. By recognizing the inherent self-centeredness of the will, we can begin to actively counter its influence. We can choose to act from a place of compassion, empathy, and selfless love, consciously choosing connection over competition, understanding over judgment, and generosity over selfishness. This is not about denying the existence of the will, but about recognizing its influence and consciously choosing to act in opposition to its more destructive tendencies. It's a challenging path, requiring constant vigilance and self-reflection, but it's a path worth pursuing, a path that leads to more meaningful relationships, a deeper sense of belonging, and a more fulfilling life. It is in these acts of genuine compassion that we find not only connection with others, but also a deeper connection with our own authentic selves, moving beyond the limitations of the will to power and embracing the transformative power of love. Vulnerability is often perceived as a weakness, a chink in our armor that exposes us to potential pain and rejection. Yet, it is precisely this vulnerability that allows for true intimacy and connection. It's in the sharing of our deepest fears, insecurities, and imperfections that we create space for others to do the same, fostering a sense of mutual trust and understanding that superficial interactions can never achieve. Our fear of vulnerability stems from a deep-seated fear of rejection, a fear of not being enough. We build walls around our hearts, protecting ourselves from potential hurt, but in doing so, we also shut out the possibility of genuine connection. We remain isolated, trapped within our self-imposed prisons of fear and insecurity. Overcoming this fear requires courage, a willingness to risk rejection in pursuit of deeper connection. It's about recognizing that vulnerability is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to our strength, our willingness to be seen and known for who we truly are. It's about accepting that not everyone will understand or appreciate our vulnerability, but that the rewards of authentic connection far outweigh the potential risks. This process is gradual, a journey of self-discovery and growth. It begins with small acts of vulnerability, sharing a personal thought or feeling with someone we trust. As we gradually build our capacity for vulnerability, we open ourselves up to deeper and more meaningful relationships. These relationships are not without challenges. Conflict and hurt are inevitable, but it's within these challenges that true intimacy is forged, a bond strengthened by shared vulnerability and mutual support. It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the profound beauty of genuine connection. The path to meaningful connection is not a simple one. It's a journey of self-discovery, requiring introspection, courage, and a willingness to confront our own limitations. It begins with self-awareness, a deep understanding of our own motivations, fears, and insecurities. This requires honest self-reflection, a willingness to acknowledge the shadow sides of our own nature, the self-serving impulses that Schopenhauer so eloquently describes. Only by understanding these aspects of ourselves can we begin to transcend them. Solitude plays a crucial role in this process. It provides a space for introspection, the quiet contemplation necessary to understand our own needs and desires, to discern genuine connection from superficial interactions. It's in these moments of solitude that we can connect with our authentic selves, free from the pressures and distractions of the external world. This self-connection is essential for forming genuine connections with others. Conscious choices are paramount. We must actively choose to cultivate meaningful relationships, to prioritize genuine connection over fleeting validation. This means being present, fully engaged, and offering our undivided attention to those we choose to connect with. It means consciously choosing empathy over judgment, understanding over criticism, and compassion over indifference. Finally, embracing vulnerability is essential. It requires courage, a willingness to risk rejection in pursuit of deeper intimacy. It is in the sharing of our authentic selves, flaws and all, that we create space for genuine connection. It is through these shared vulnerabilities that we build trust, understanding, and the enduring bonds that sustain us through life's challenges. This is a path to genuine connection, a journey of self-awareness, solitude, conscious choices, and courageous vulnerability. It's a path that requires effort, but the rewards are immeasurable. While Schopenhauer philosophy offers a sobering perspective on human nature, it doesn't negate the possibility of genuine connection. The challenges of the modern world, with its superficial interactions and pervasive loneliness, are real. Yet, within this landscape of disconnection, there remains profound yearning for authentic belonging, a deep-seated human need for meaningful relationships. This yearning is not a weakness, but a testament to our inherent capacity for love, empathy, and connection. It is a call to action, a reminder that we are not alone in our struggles, and that genuine connection is attainable. It requires effort, courage, and a willingness to confront our own vulnerabilities. But the rewards, a sense of belonging, a deeper understanding of ourselves and others, and more fulfilling life, are worth the journey. The path to fulfilling connection is paved with self-awareness, a conscious choice to prioritize authenticity over superficiality, and a willingness to embrace vulnerability. It's a path that requires us to cultivate solitude, to embrace the quiet moments of introspection that allow us to connect with our true selves, free from the distractions and pressures of the external world. It's about recognizing that true intimacy arises not from the avoidance of pain, but from courageous embrace of our shared human experience. The journey may be challenging, filled with moments of doubt and uncertainty. There will be setbacks, moments when we stumble and fall. But it's through these challenges, through our willingness to persevere despite the pain, that we discover profound beauty and resilience of the human spirit. The possibility of genuine connection, of finding solace and fulfillment in the bonds we create with others, remains a beacon of hope, guiding us toward a more meaningful and connected existence. Embrace the journey. The reward awaits.